Welcome to the Sleazy Podcast, the podcast about anything and everything.
Are you ready?
Mostly TV and movies. And now it's time to get sleazy.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the world-renowned Sleazy Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sleazy, and this is episode 163. So we're coming along, just chugging. Tonight, I am joined by that guy who does try that in a small town, Mr. PBS.
Sorry, I got sandbagged for a minute.
And I forgot what I was going to say for you, but
Who knows?
it's just Rob Zella across from me.
Hello.
As
It was
always.
probably very negative and derogatory, so
Yeah. He's like, we have a whole show to do. He's like, it can hold off.
probably
Yeah.
best he forgot.
Yeah, it probably is. I got to stop trying to make you look like the bad guy of the show. But yeah, so
I don't know why it's so funny.
that was a nice sandbag, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you see my TikTok I made?
The cane sauce.
When they forget your extra cane sauce.
Thank you, Mitch McConnell, the most productive thing you've ever done.
He had to have had a stroke, right?
Some people were saying it's like a focal seizure or something.
Is it, I mean, it's something medical related, obviously.
Has to be.
I
He
mean,
was gone.
yeah,
whatever.
he was
just
checked
took
out.
it.
Yeah.
They were like, "Is that all you have?" And he's just like, "Maybe."
Or he took a really great bong hit before he went out there.
Yeah.
Just lost his mind.
You think he had some like gummies and he freaked the fuck out when he was on the podium?
We can only hope that's what it was.
All right, so here's our lineup for tonight's show, or whenever you're listening. We're gonna talk about the UFO hearing on Capitol Hill.
Shit's real.
Yeah, shit's going down. Then we'll move on to Ted Lasso. I finally got to watch Ted Lasso. I feel like I've avoided Apple TV for so long because I'm just not that I'm anti-Apple. I'm anti people that love Apple. And
So you hate Apple.
no, not really. I mean, I think they make good products, but it's not for me. But
Yeah.
I mean, people that love Apple are just a little overbearing at times, and I'm just like,
Like, you don't have an Apple phone? Ugh. That's how they act.
I've been,
You
yeah.
are not superior.
Some
Yeah.
people won't even talk to you if you don't have an Apple phone.
That's
That's
facts.
the kind of thing that like turns me away from it. I'm like, I don't want any.
I
Part
didn't
of
see the
that.
blue box. Can't be friends with you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't want any part in that culture. You know, like I don't care if you have an old Nextel that you're texting me on. If you're good people, I want to talk to you. You know.
Jobs is dead. Get over it.
Yeah. Right. Right. And then moving along, we're going to talk about the new and last season of Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime Video. We're going to give spoiler-free reviews on that and Oppenheimer. Some of us did get to the theater and watch that.
Yeah, some of us.
Yeah, some of us.
Okay, not me.
So it was like, I kept trying to pinpoint a time for all of us to go. You were like, I'll just go during the week. I can't go Sunday. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Rob's like, well, can we go at 6? And I'm like, well, John wants to go, and John is got to work that night. He can't go at 6. Well, okay, we can go at 10 then. I'm like, okay. So I'm getting ready to buy the tickets. And this is after we came to the thing that, he wanted to go later on in the week. And I was like, I booked later on in the week. I can't go. We got to go Sunday.
Look at that schedule.
And then I'm getting ready to buy the tickets. Hey, buddy, just go ahead and go without me.
Sure.
I can't make it. I didn't even ask him.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
He's like, fuck off.
Right.
He said it. He said it, but he didn't text it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, get fucked, Rob.
You need to set that as like an auto reply.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
Rob just sends you anything, that's the auto reply.
Get fucked, Rob.
How are you today? Get fucked. Oh, okay.
Put that fucking dog down. Put it out of its misery already. Then to close the show out, we're gonna do Ranker's list of best alien movies to kind of correspond with the UFO hearings. So I think it's a good show. What do you guys think?
Terrible. I'm leaving.
Terrible.
It's a great show because
I left my basement for this shit.
You did, sir. I'm sorry.
I've been swindled, hornswoggled, bamboozled.
Is that your ASMR?
Bamboozled.
So, I mean, what is the deal with all this stuff? Like, this ASMR on
I don't
TikTok.
know.
And, I mean, it's every day. Like I get at least 4 or 5 people that are like live streaming that shit like on my feed, and I'm just like, is there any way I can just like block this out?
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
I get like the soft talking. I kind of understand that. Like sometimes
Right.
you just want somebody to talk to you.
It's
and be
better than the
nice,
guy that
quiet.
Rob always sends me that's fucking screaming, and I'm like, I can't take this dude.
Yeah.
Like he screams at the top of his like he has to. He's gonna do some serious health damage if he keeps yelling, making TikToks yelling like that.
He's funny, but then he does scream like constantly though.
It's like people just scrambling around their home
yeah.
to find things.
Like, can we dial that down a notch, dude? And then
Right.
I would watch more of your videos if you were
Right.
just a regular person talking. Like, you don't need to scream on every video. I get that's your shtick, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
I just don't want to hear people screaming. It stresses me out, and I'm like,
Pass, hard pass.
yeah. I want to see funny stuff, and I want to see hot chicks on my TikTok, you know,
Right.
and not people screaming. So, oh look, we didn't even need to put the TV up because I framed it out on the video there. So no more
Yeah.
background. It's still nice to have up and look over while we're
Yeah.
filming. But for those of you that want to know, I have like a little aquarium YouTube video up. So there's tons of fish swimming, and
With his new awesome TV.
then there's some turtles. There's a big old turtle on the thing right now.
Have to get some like glowing lamps or something to put like back here. So just kind of move your lamp over here or something.
Yeah, well, you know, the brightness takes it out of the camera, can't focus on it or whatever.
Mhm.
Kind of pisses me off. So I'm like, whatever. I should just put a giant screen behind you, and we should just green screen it and be somewhere different, like podcast from the Great Wall of China, and maybe like a dumpster or something. Correspond with our content, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, so for those of you that have been living under a rock, okay, so what day was this? Was it
Wednesday.
It was Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday.
Because we did like a countdown, basically. Like one more day, baby.
Yeah. I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
So we'll just go ahead and share this screen here. Here are the 5 most memorable moments from the Congress UFO hearing. Okay, so former military officials made a series of mystifying claims about unidentified aerial phenomena under oath at Wednesday's congressional hearing. They used under oath so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's under oath.
It means it's fucking true, buddy.
Like, nobody's ever lied under oath.
Yeah.
All right, so this comes from NBCnews.com. 3 former military officials told Congress Wednesday that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it is telling the public. A House Oversight Subcommittee held a hearing on UFOs, officially known as unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Or can we just say UFOs?
Yeah.
It's fucking UFOs.
Mhm.
And heard mystifying testimony about unexplained object sightings and government possession of non-human, and quotation marks, non-human biological matter. That means bodies, if you can't catch on to that. Okay. Lawmakers on the committee, baffled by some of the testimony, repeatedly noted that UAP sightings are an issue of bipartisan concern and raised national security questions. Separately, some accused the federal government of endeavoring to conceal key UFO-related information from the public, though they did not provide evidence to support those allegations.
Sometimes I refer to Rob Dilla as non-human biological matter.
I hear that there is a lot of evidence, but the inspector general, it's all tied into a whistleblower case, so they can't talk about it. Nor can they can in a skiff or a private session where it's not over TVs and it's just the congressman in there. Do you know what a skiff is?
I have no idea what skiff is.
Well,
It's peanut butter, right? Skiffy peanut butter.
you know what a skiff is, don't you?
It's a place with no electronics to go outside.
It's a place where there's no electronics. Nobody's allowed in there. It's airtight, and you're allowed to discuss things that can't be picked up.
Okay.
Or leave the room for that matter.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Where was I? Okay. The sheer number of reports, whistleblowers, and stories of unidentified anomalous phenomena should raise real questions and warrant investigation and oversight. And that's why we are here today. Representative Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on the subcommittee, said in his opening statement, UAPs, whatever they may be, may pose a serious threat to our military or civilian aircraft, and that must be understood. I think he said it like that. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
These UAP sightings, experts say, might be attributable to balloons, drones, optical illusions. It's an optical illusion. It almost hit the plane,
Yeah.
and they chased it around.
It's like David Copperfield doing magic up in the sky.
Do they call the Tic Tac video an optical illusion? I wonder. You know, that the radars picked up on and tracked.
That's just fake. That's just computer generated.
Okay, so the Pentagon has said they have seen no evidence linking UAPs to alien activity, though they have not ruled out that explanation. Here are 5 of the witnesses' main claims from the hearing. The government is absolutely in possession of UAPs. David Grush, a former U.S. intelligence official, told the panel that he is absolutely certain that the federal government is in possession of the UAPs, citing interviews he said he conducted with 40 witnesses over a 4-year period. The former U.S. intelligence official said he led Defense Department efforts to analyze reported UAP sightings and was informed of a multi-decade Pentagon program that endeavored to collect and reconstruct crashed UAPs. Asked by Representative Jared Mizkowitz, Democrat of Florida, how such a program is funded, Grush claimed that the effort is above congressional oversight and bankrolled by misappropriation of funds. That makes sense. You ever see where like the Pentagon buys parts for certain companies and like to the public it's like $8 for that part, but the Pentagon it's like I don't know $5,000 or something. It's ridiculous the markup on it.
Right.
Got to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean that there is money in the budget that is set to go to a program, but it doesn't, and it goes to something else? Ms. Cowitz asked. Yes, I have specific knowledge of that, Grush said, though he did not provide more details, claiming the information remains classified. That's another thing. He can't talk about certain things because it's classified.
Right.
Non-human biologics were found at a crash site. Grush, who underscored that he has not personally spotted a UAP, told the panel that he knows of multiple colleagues who were injured by UAPs. He also said he has interviewed individuals who have recovered non-human biologics from crashed UAPs. Grush said he prefers to use the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial, hinting that it may be interdimensional. I think he knows something that he's not letting on to. Obviously can't say it. It's classified. It's classified. Can't talk about it. Yeah, whenever somebody asks me something I don't want to answer now, I'm just like, it's classified. I can't tell you. Asked by Representative Eric Burleson, Republican of Missouri, to substantiate the crashed UAP's claim. The former intelligence official said he could not divulge specific details, once again claiming the information was too sensitive to share with the public. He did, however, describe the nature of what he saw. I had to be very careful here, but what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing. A Pentagon spokesperson told NBC News that Grush's claims are false. That's expected. They're not going to admit to anything.
Nope.
Officials must establish a safe and transparent reporting process. Some lawmakers and witnesses pushed the federal government to establish clear channels to communicate UAP information with both the public and military, and said the military should establish a comprehensive reporting process for unidentified object sightings. Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot, told the panel that military pilots do not feel adequately briefed on UAPs, which he said leaves them unprepared to respond to UAP encounters. The former Navy pilot claimed that commercial airline pilots have spotted UAPs too. There has to be a safe and transparent reporting process for pilots both on the commercial side and the military side to be able to report UAPs, Garcia said. There's Ryan Graves, if you don't know who he is, for those of you on YouTube. All right, Representative Virginia Fox, Republican North Carolina, echoed the calls for more transparency. She noted that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, had previously told Congress that there was no credible evidence of extraterrestrial life. Rush objected to Kirkpatrick's claim, prompting Fox to say that contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to inject transparency into our government. I would agree. Stigma associated with sightings silences possible witnesses. Some witnesses and lawmakers at the hearing argued that the stigma associated with reporting UFO sightings, as well as the alleged harassment of those who work to investigate them, may be hindering efforts to determine their origins. Well, why would they be? Makes you wonder, right?
Mm.
Graves told the panel that the stigma silences pilots who fear professional repercussions, which he said is compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. The Federal Aviation Administration has no mechanism for pilots to report UAPs. That's when they just post it off their iPhone,
Mm.
and instead directs them to civilian groups that are often dismissed as the domain of cranks and conspiracy theorists. Would that be MUFON or something? Those institutional hurdles led Graves to form the first of its kind group that pushes policy changes, serves as a hub for pilot whistleblowers, and advocates for more disclosure by the military and other government agencies. Lawmakers said they hoped that the hearing could help assuage pilots' fears of speaking out. This hearing will not be the end of the discussion, but a new chapter and start. We should encourage more reporting, more study of UAPs, Garcia said. The more we understand, the safer they are. UFO spotted accelerating at supersonic speeds. David Fravor, this is the guy that encountered the Tic Tac UFO. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's the one that looks like a little Tic Tac that they track on the radar, and you see it go all over the place, and the pilots are going nuts.
Right.
Okay, so David Fravor, former Navy commander, said he and 3 fellow military pilots spotted a white Tic Tac shaped object in 2004, hovering below their jets and just above the Pacific Ocean. As he descended to inspect the sighting, he claimed the unidentified aircraft, which he said bore no visible rotors, wings, or exhaust, began to ascend and approached his fighter jet. He claimed that the UAP then vanished, only to reappear a few seconds later, but this time it was spotted 60 miles away. We don't have anything that can go that fast, do we?
No, not that quick.
Fravor told the committee that the technology he and his team encountered defies logical explanation. The technology that we face is far superior to anything that we had, Fravor claimed, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing. So that's all we have from that article. But I did save a TikTok in our little group here. And this will be, I think this is just kind of like a little montage of things that were said during the hearing.
Mr. Graves and Fravor, in the event that your encounters had become hostile, would you have had the capability to defend yourself, your crew, your aircraft?
Absolutely not.
Sir,
No.
Shit myself.
is there any indication that these UAPs are interested in our nuclear technology and capabilities?
Yes.
Everybody knows that.
By external observation, sure, that could be a fair assessment. Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Grush, I might have asked this before, but I want to make sure. Do you have any personal knowledge of someone who's possibly been injured working on legacy UAP reverse engineering?
Yes.
Are you aware of any individuals that are participating in reverse engineering programs for non-terrestrial craft?
Personally, yes.
Mr. Grush, why is it that you
She's kinda hot.
refer
Who
to
is
the
it?
phenomenon as non-human intelligence? Why deviate from the basis of extraterrestrial life?
I think the phenomenon is very complex, and I like to leave an open mind analytically to specific origin.
When you say specific origin, are you referring, can you elaborate on that for those that might not?
If it's a traditional extraterrestrial origin or something else that we don't quite understand from either a biological or astrophysics perspective, I just like to keep an open mind on what it could be. The previously classified NSA archive, what I would recommend, and I tried to get access, but I got a wall of silence at the White House, was those specific incidents when those message traffic was used. I think some scholarship on that would open the door to a further investigation using those publicly available information.
Was this the first time that you encountered a UFO or a UAP in 2004?
Yes.
And what was your general attitude or perspective on the UFO discussion before that happened?
I never felt that we were alone with all the planets out there, but I wasn't a UFO person. I wasn't watching History Channel and MUFON and all that.
And so
Good answer.
have you formed any general conclusions about what you think you experienced then?
Yes, I think what we experienced was, like I said, well beyond the material science and the capabilities that we had at the time, that we have currently, or that we're going to have in the next 10 to 20 years.
What's the most vivid, concrete sighting with the naked eye of the objects that you described before, the cube-like objects?
Certainly. I think the most vivid sighting of that would have been near a near midair that we had at the entrance to our working area. One of these objects was completely stationary at the exact entrance to our working areas, not only geographically, but also at altitude. So it was right where all the jets are going, essentially on the eastern seaboard. The two aircraft flew within about 50 feet of the object, and that was a very close visual sighting.
And you were in one of the aircraft?
I was not. I was there when the pilot landed. He canceled the mission after, and I was there. He was in the ready room with all his gear on, with his mouth open. And I asked him what the problem was, and he said he almost hit one of those darn things.
He said he was 50 feet away from it?
Yes, sir.
And
I don't think he
his
said darn.
description of the object was consistent with the description you gave us before?
A dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere.
Inside of a clear sphere?
Yes.
And with no self-evident propulsion system?
No wings, no IR energy coming off of the vehicle, nothing tethering it to the ground. And that was primarily what we were experiencing out there.
Just say it's the board.
We thank you. And I do want to also thank the
board
people in the audience and the people that are watching this that can't be, people all over the world that have kept this issue alive. You've endured criticism and derogatory remarks, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. So God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much. We really appreciate you guys and gals.
Rob Zilla, I know you've taken a lot of hate from people all around the world, but I really appreciate you.
No problem.
Yeah, Rob, I appreciate all the criticism you've taken and all the criticism that I give you. I appreciate.
Appreciate all the criticism you've taken and yet to address.
Yeah.
I'm like
keep fighting the good fight, buddy. Keep giving us material to make fun of you with.
I know. I'm the hero that you need.
Well, it's all on record now.
Yeah.
It's all on record now. At least as far as, people testifying, and it's televised. Not that it wasn't televised. I didn't hear anything I hadn't heard before on this meeting.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're, aside from a couple of explanations from Grush there.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen his News Nation interview, you should watch it. It's pretty interesting. And come to the conclusion what you want, whether you think he's full of shit or whether you don't. Obviously, our government's lied to us 1,000 times before. I'm not getting political here. We're just talking about
facts.
history.
It's facts.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's alien stuff that we're seeing. But one thing that interests me and that caught my eye, I watched this whole hearing as it was going on. I had it up while I was working. And one thing that caught my eye was when he wouldn't specifically say extraterrestrial bodies. When he said they had evidence of bodies being recovered with the craft, and he calls them biologics. And so to me, that kind of leads me to believe that he knows that they're probably extra dimensional,
right?
Is what I'm interpreting from that. But it's definitely some crazy shit. I mean, these are two people that have seen these things in action as far as up in the air and actually interacted with them. The Commander Fravor one is really interesting because that one played with them and then dusted them. And then it was out messing with them again later on. But and I don't know if you've seen the other interviews with the other pilot that was with him. She was terrified, even describing it to this day. And that was almost 20 years ago when this happened. So it's taken 20 years, almost 20 years for all this stuff to see the light of day.
Yeah.
But they say that this stuff, Rush has claimed that the first craft was recovered in the 1930s.
In Italy, I believe.
In Italy, right around World War II-ish time. But I don't know. That's just kind of weird because everybody always hears Roswell as the first incident.
That's the most famous one.
I think it's just the most talked about one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, listen, I love a good story. It's just great entertainment, I think, at the end of the day. But I'm not sure what to make heads or tails of it. I mean, you just don't know. Are they trying to mislead us on something? Like, we know the government does that. Like, they go out and they tell false things to kind of mislead the public on away from certain things. But I don't know. What do you think, Mr. PBS?
I remain highly skeptical.
So do you think Rush is full of shit?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't buy all this. I can't show you. It's classified. Like, Ellsberg leaked the Pentagon Papers. That was classified. He got it to the news because he believed it was something people needed to see.
Maybe he can go live in Russia with what's his face?
Snowden.
Snowden.
Yeah.
I don't. If you think this is something everybody should know, I just don't buy you. Oh, it's classified. I'd like to show you. Like, here, I'm just telling you, it's 99% real. I just can't show you the evidence.
And that's what, like, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was like, well, how many times has somebody leaked something? I mean, that's part of the reporter's job, is to say, this is my lead. I can't reveal this, but I guess, I'm not 100% sure how the laws work.
Yeah.
But I understand that Grush is, he has a retirement and all that. He's still got to live. So I could see him playing that classified thing and not leaking certain things. And even in his interview, he's very, like, that interview was very well laid out. And he knows what to say, what he can't say. And he's very descriptive. So I don't know. And like, I keep going back to that thing. Like, it's not the first time the government's bullshitted us. But the pilots are the things that really kind of get me going with, like, what the fuck is up there fucking with our pilots and our Navy out there in the ocean. And they say these things go, like, they drop into the ocean and disappear. They actually have one of those on the, little radar recordings. It drops down and you hear them go splash, splash. And I mean, it hits the ocean fucking hard. And then it comes back up and shoots off. But I mean, we don't have anything that can go like that. Is it possible we could have a drone that could do that? Sure. I don't think a human being could be in there. They'd be crushed by the G-force.
Yeah.
So
it's just, I think it's what's crazy to me is, like, they discredit those pilots. Like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand. These are fucking fighter pilots that go through.
They're highly trained.
Yeah.
They're highly trained. And I was listening to one of them, and he was like, what the people don't understand is we're trained to identify aircraft at so many feet away, just off of like a wing or a tail. He was like, we can tell what kind of aircraft we're about to encounter. He was like, when we encounter these things, it's a different beast. I mean, you immediately know it's something you've not seen before. So it's crazy. And I think, if anything that you should take into consideration, or, really listen heartfeltly. I don't know what I'm going to say there, but just take into consideration the pilot's testimony. And I mean, even the video that they've recorded. So what do you think is up with that Tic Tac video, PBS? I want to know what you think, because you're the skeptic.
Well, I've got a buddy who's in the Air Force, and he said a lot of those pilots are self-important alpha dickheads.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me for some of them, maybe to want to make themselves special. But no, I mean, there's no denying that there is video evidence out there of some things that are kind of crazy.
There's something, and they don't know what it is, or at least they're saying they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And what kills me is, in that article, how they said, oh, Rush is totally false. And in this interview, well, in the hearing, they asked, do they have interest in nuclear facilities and nuclear weapons? And that's pretty, like, well known over the years, that there's been like UFO or UAP sightings over facilities and turning the facilities on and off. And like, there's been actual other military people that have come out and said that, yeah, this shit really happened, and we were fucking terrified. We didn't know what it was. But, and then they didn't mention this, but the pilots actually had when they get near these things, it jams their radars. And that's an act of war by today's standards, I guess. So, I mean, that's some serious shit if it is somebody from another country doing that. But it just seems so weird. And, like, why can't we just get an answer of what these fucking things are? If it's not fucking extra dimensional, or from another dimension. If it's not alien, just fucking come out and say it. Tell us what it is. Like, and if it is some kind of technology we have, why can't people know that these things exist? Like, why are they beating around the bush and like Congress doesn't even know about it?
I don't know. I feel like even now, standards now for people these days can't handle basic reality, let alone interdimensional shit now, let alone.
I think we're at a point where people can handle it.
Honestly, I don't think most people would care.
No.
Like if that hearing, if they had to play like, here's a video of an alien, people would be like, oh, okay, aliens exist, cool.
Yeah.
I got to go to work tomorrow. So fucking what?
Yeah. I have to pay $7 for a bag of Doritos. I'm sorry. I don't have time to worry about that fucker.
Thank you. Aliens are cool. X-Files was right. Okay, cool.
I want to get
on with my life.
Are these fucking cocksucking Grays paying their taxes now, or I got to chip in on that too?
All I'm saying is Indiana Jones discovered aliens, and he had to go back to his job. So.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was Bob Lazar? That's what I want to say.
It's not a big thing. Well, you know, Bob Lazar's not going anywhere near this.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar.
Well, like they said that reverse engineering. I'm like, well, he's been working on that.
Did you notice Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp are like right behind those guys in the hearing? They're sitting like right behind them.
Yeah, get their pictures too.
Yep. Great.
We've been telling you guys. We've been telling you.
They have, and if you're interested in something like that, they have the show on, podcast. They have the audio and then the video on YouTube. It's called Weaponized, and they do an episode, I think, every Tuesday. I think it comes out Tuesday morning, but it's all right. I mean, if you've been down this like rabbit hole or whatever, I guess you could say, it's nothing that you haven't seen or heard before. Some stuff you'll hear new stuff. Like, I guess they knew about this Crush dude for a long time before he actually came out and did that interview with News Nation. But I don't know. But I mean, why would these pilots come out and ruin their reputation? And even this Grush guy, I mean, military wise, and there's really not any money to be made, is there?
Yeah, what's the
I mean,
game,
if he leaked some classified info that said aliens are real, I'm sure every news channel, Netflix documentary would be throwing money at him.
Maybe. So, like I said, I feel like it's just it is entertainment right now. But man, what if they're right?
If they're right, I still got to go to work tomorrow. So,
right. Do you think people would be like up in arms because they've suppressed energy saving technology? I mean, there's nothing we can do. We're all slaves to the man.
Yeah.
And like you said, we all have to go to work the next day. But it would be kind of interesting if they just started showing up, like you're walking down the street and there's a fucking little gray alien walking down. And
wasn't on South Park while they start like coming from the future to work and get jobs or whatever.
The goo bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chicken sandwich.
Didn't they like ship them off somewhere or something like that because they were so annoying?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They started the big gay pile, so they wouldn't have future generations, so they couldn't come back. And the boys are like, we could just make the world a better place now, so that the people from the future won't want to come back to the past. And they're like, no, this is gayer than the pile. Let's go back to the pile.
What if I've heard this theory proposed before. What if it's an advanced civilization? There's something just, catastrophic happened and they had to go underground or to, center of the earth, whatever you want to speculate here. And they're coming up to observe us to see how advanced we are.
Mm-hmm. When Matthew McConaughey enters the Tesseract and starts pushing books off my shelf to send me a message, and we'll talk.
When he gives us the equation on how to make the world, I mean, what was that, like a giant spaceship pretty much that they could live on with gravity,
anti-gravity spaceship or whatever.
I don't know. It's very intriguing stuff though. I'm fucking amazed. I eat every little bit of it up. I'm like, what'd they find out today?
Yeah.
What's coming out today? But supposedly there's more whistleblowers that have made reports, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a couple more hearings down the road. What do you think, Rob? You think it's all real? You think it's bullshit?
Do they have a cure for diabetes? That's what Rob wants to know.
Oh, they got a cure for a lot of this shit, but they're just not going to say it.
No, big pharma.
It's fucking
Aliens are like, we
truth,
don't have
though.
we don't have diabetes.
Yeah.
We respect our bodies. We don't go to McDonald's.
What is this? The fucking Dark Ages?
If they cured diabetes, you know, the local Groveport pharmacy would be out of business because Rob and Brownie wouldn't be able to fill their prescriptions anymore.
We might be the disease that can kill the aliens.
That's
Even
just-
touch of the diabetes.
That's $4,000 a month. We'll have to fire 3 people.
Yes, I'm
Diabetes.
of the cynical opinion that humans may be the only life in the universe, and we're it. So gross.
You think so?
Or where the backwater and the aliens don't want anything to do with us.
Yeah,
Like, nah.
that too. They're just fucking fed up with us.
I think something's here and something's observing us.
They heard try that in a small town. They're like, no.
That's my
hard pass.
That's my opinion. I don't know what it is, whether it's alien, extra dimensional, previous civilization, but I think something's out there and something's observing us. And people always say, well, do you think they'd be interested in us? Like, fuck yeah. Like, we fucking study everything that's dumber than us. So why wouldn't something more advanced than us want to study us?
It just seems like it's crazy that since with our technology, we're seeing more and more of these things showing up and people recording them. And it's just something that's not right of what it is.
And, you know, that's the thing that really bugs me is people are like, well, why isn't there, we have HD cameras on our phone. Why don't they have high definition photos and videos and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's not how that camera works. It's not a high speed camera. It can't detect, you know, can't catch that stuff flying around like that. And there is pictures and somewhat, there's people have videos of them flying in planes, seeing
Those are
these
people
things.
who believe the earth is flat.
Yes, I've seen the alien on top of the VHS.
Yeah.
There's a new video going around of a video of an alien being interrogated, interrogated
or questioned.
Yeah, you've seen it. It's got the like monitor.
Yeah, it's
going
being
up and
questioned, but it's sick or something like that,
Yeah.
supposedly. And Colin Powell was wiping its mouth.
They said Colin Powell was in the room.
He was in the room. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I thought
he was in the
one-
room with the weapons of mass destruction.
But what hits my bullshit meter on that fucking video? Okay, so if we had an alien being from another world, do you think that we would just be like checking its pulse and wiping it down and just regular scrubs and like a face mask?
No, they would have a fucking.
I would be loaded up in a fucking bio suit like fucking
yeah.
Our boy from Outbreak.
Yeah.
Dennis, what is his name?
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
I'd be in the fucking bio suit and I'd be like, okay, what do you exactly want me to do with this thing right now?
Yeah.
And they talk about something like its heart and lungs is all one thing. And that's why it needed that special monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in that, just Google alien interrogation.
It looked like they took this alien out to a fucking bender and he was just trying to. He's just like,
He
looks hungover, like he's partying too hard.
Well, and it's funny. I know it's funny. Sometimes the things that you think are fake are real. And like my first thought was, I was like, what kind of Jim Henson bullshit is this?
Right.
Like, it's like,
I know it's less like hung over, like
just the way it was like moving. I mean, I guess if something's sick, it would move kind of weird like that. But yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? But crazy. We live in crazy times.
But I agree with Mr. PBS though that sometimes like, well, it's classified. Let's cut the bullshit here. A lot of these guys can leak that shit, and it's not going to affect them.
And one thing they talked about in that meeting, they said there is a lot of overclassified stuff. Like, I guess there's more videos and pictures that are in high def, and some of the congressmen have seen it and they're just blown away by it. And they're like, you're going to be shocked when you see this shit.
That's why I've heard some of them, like, they leave the room, they're just like completely mind blown. Like,
yeah, they're mind
it
fucked
is.
by it.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit. So that's what I'm kind of interested in. Like, what do they know? What have they seen? And I mean, if they're going this far and having hearings, just go and get it unclassified. And like, what about that freedom of what's the act that everybody gets?
Freedom of Information.
Freedom of Information Act. Yeah. Like, why can't we get that on this shit and get it public? But we live in crazy times. That's all I'm going to say. Did you ever think we'd be seeing hearings on UFOs?
No, but it's pretty cool though, at least.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because you grew up with like Project Blue Book and all that, and they pretty much essentially said, yeah, it's all bullshit. But then Dr. J. Allen Hynek went out on his own, who was a big skeptic at one time. And towards the end of his life, he was a big UFO believer, and he started some society or something, I think. But he was actually in, he was like wasn't he in Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I think he was like a technical advisor kind of guy.
Yeah. I thought he had like one part in
He
it.
might have been in it at some point.
I know the
don't
other,
exactly.
the French guy was in it.
Mhm.
The other guy that J. Allen Hynek ran around with. But crazy times we live in, like I said. I'm just, I'm interested. I can't wait for the next hearing.
I need to check out Indigo Swan too.
Oh, that's a crazy story too.
Yeah, that shit's
But
crazy.
like, it's funny for all these things. There's always something to like. Somebody always has some kind of thing to debunk them, but
Yeah.
it's not like 100% concrete to debunk them. You know.
Like it's like 50% true and 50% false. Like,
But we
it's
know the
somewhat true.
CIA had a program that
Yeah.
Indigo Swan was a part of. So,
Well, I mean, just you have
that's
to.
another thing. If you're listening, look up Indigo Swan. That's some crazy shit too.
Well, even just Stranger Things is based on them doing experiments and
Yeah.
and doing like trying to open portals
CIA
and shit.
experiments.
Yeah, so,
Yeah. Yeah. They wasted a lot of money on some shit, dude. And you're just like, why can't we have healthcare? That's
Yeah.
why you can't have healthcare.
yeah,
Because the
we like the
government's
bullshit.
wasting it on fucking psychic powers.
Yeah,
There's one thing you've learned about working in a world of corporations. It's that some people will waste a lot of money to justify having a job.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely will. All right, so moving on, we got to get going here. So I finally gave in. Drew was over here for Sleazy Palooza, and he was like, promise me you'll watch Ted Lasso. Well, Drew, the promise has been fulfilled. I have completed all the seasons of Ted Lasso, and look, I understand why it's won all these awards and everything. It's a good show.
it's only what 4 seasons, isn't it?
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
It's a great show. It's not a good show. It's a great show. But look, I don't even like soccer. At some level,
Football, sir. It's called football.
Yes, football.
Correct yourself.
Football
okay?
is life. But like, on some sort of level, I kind of despise it sometimes. I don't know if I'd say I hate it, but like I do like watching like the World Cup and stuff like that. But as far as an everyday soccer game,
I just love when they fight because they just kick the fuck out of each other. Don't they, with those cleats, they fuck them up.
And I know what it means to people over there. Like if I lived in London or some part of the UK or something like that, I'd probably be into it. But I'm more of a American football kind of guy and baseball and basketball kind of guy. But that being said, listen, you don't even have to like soccer. This is a great show. And Jason Sudeikis did a really good job with it. Everybody that's in it is really good. And you find yourself falling in love with all the characters. The story's great. I mean, there's just something about this show that kind of like grabs your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you really just fall in love with it and you feel invested in it. And I'm really sad that it's over with now and I don't have any more Ted Lasso to watch.
Did they say reason? I mean, it just ran its course or it just got canceled?
No,
or?
it just kind of ends.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm like, I heard it's fantastic. I don't know why it would be
yeah,
canceled.
It's great.
You know?
Well, I think they did what they wanted to do with it.
Okay.
And they were kind of like, yeah, let's end it.
Okay. Well, that's good
some
then.
things drag on and they diminish their value when they keep going.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ted Lasso was phenomenal. I mean, we're doing like a 5-star rating. It's a 4.5-star show all the way. But I really enjoyed it. And, I sat down here. I mean, it was kind of like my dinner show and nightly show whenever I had time to watch it. But I binged through it pretty quickly. Probably a couple weeks, I would say I was done with it. But man, that Apple TV, it'll get you. There's all kinds of good shit on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
good
shit. A lot of stuff I do want to watch on that.
I've watched a couple movies on there that have just been so-and-so, but the shows seem to be a lot better. So I would say that's probably their strong point. Kind of like Netflix, shows are their strong point.
Right.
Not so much their movies. But man, that fucking Ted Lasso was so good.
I have to watch. Good. That's probably the first one I'll probably watch when we.
And I mean, like I said, Apple. There's something that about it to where everybody can relate to it, whether it's going through a hard time with a relationship or children, being away from children or your loved ones, to relationships with people you work with, romantic relationships. I mean, there's just something about that show that everybody can connect with. And it just gets you in the feels, man. And it's a great show to watch. I could see myself probably rewatching that again someday, but I really enjoyed it. And, if you got the time, Apple TV is only like $6.99 a month, or you can do the $69.99 a year or whatever it is.
I mean, just add on to everything else that you got, I mean, it ain't gonna hurt you.
we're paying more than what we were for regular cable back in the day.
Yeah. Don't let them fool you.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But I spare no expense for my entertainment.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is all I have.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else going on.
At least let me be happy and enjoy my stuff.
I just want to watch fucking kick-ass movies and TV shows. And
I mean,
Be
don't
left
we all?
alone.
yeah,
Yeah. I know that-
occasionally have a good burger and a good pizza.
I know I do want to see the show on, it's called C, that's on Apple. It's got Jason Momoa. I fucking hate those people who do that.
You should have opened your can at the microphone.
Yeah. Why do you want to see that show?
It's interesting and it's really dark and gritty. I saw like a fight scene in it and it's pretty brutal.
Really? It's
Yeah.
Pretty
Brutal.
pretty.
I think the story is that
I got some dark and gritty stuff around my bathtub. You want to come see it?
Yeah.
Give it a clean while you're over there.
will attack me just like the tub
Guys.
from
No.
Ghostbusters too.
Guys, I want to watch that Jason Momoa show. Forget about Thor. I want Jason Momoa now.
He cuts people up with a blade and he's blind in this show.
He's so handsome.
It's gritty. He's gonna be all sweaty and dirty. Oh
I love his-
God.
I love his long flowing hair.
I need to take a cold shower and think about Aquaman now.
Drown me in your love, Jason. Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
A little too
Oh
much.
no.
A little too much there.
It's nowhere near the whatchamacallit we did on the last show with the guy that plays Thor. I always forget his name.
Chris
Hemsworth?
Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Chrissy Hemsworth. I love you.
Chrissy.
I want to party with you, Chrissy Hemsworth. That's your boy. You know it is.
Chrissy.
I watched Platonic with Seth Rogen and is it Rose Byrne?
I believe it is. I'll double check.
We can't come to a conclusion. I asked him to look that up before the show, and he never did.
That was my fault.
Pretty sure it's Rose Byrne. She's Irish, maybe.
Why can't I think she's Australian, isn't she?
Could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, Rose Byrne. Yep.
Where's she from?
She is
Find it, producer.
Australian actress. Australian.
Irish. Come on, PBS.
I feel like Byrne's an Irish name.
Stay in your lane, buddy.
Stay in your lane, buddy.
Just
Fucked up.
Just stick to them 30.
I like Rose Byrne because I think she's a gritty and dark actress.
Do you? She's hot. She's always been hot.
She's always been a good looking woman.
Yeah. But man, those two, they have great chemistry. They did those what was it? Neighbors movie? Was it the Neighbors movie?
She was Zac Efron's wife, or
Neighbor-
Seth Rogen's wife. Or whatever.
Yeah, Seth Rogen's wife.
Yeah.
But in this one, the show's called Platonic, obviously. It's just a limited series, so I don't think there's going to be a second season or anything. But her and Seth Rogen are like really good friends in the show. So much to where they were, he was her maid of honor when she got married. But they had a falling out, and they go. She finds out that he's going through a divorce, so she kind of initiates the friendship again, and it just goes from there. And they get into all kinds of crazy shit. And, I mean, his character.
Byrne was born in Balmain, New South Wales, a suburb of Sydney. She has Irish and Scottish ancestry.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I'll stay in my lane then. But she's Australian, right?
Yeah, she was born in Australia, New South Wales.
Yeah, there we go.
But she has the heritage of the Irish.
It's the last name, man. He was right about that.
I don't really question Mr. PBS about stuff.
I really don't. I just like giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I fucking told you, didn't
When
I?
are
He's
you
like,
going to
"Yes."
watch Gladiator, by the way?
Never.
I told you guys in the chat. If the writers stay on strike, I'm hoping they're gonna re-release Gladiator to theaters when Napoleon comes out. I've already got my one star review written up for Gladiator, by the way.
Why is that?
Just because.
Just because.
So there's no reason he needs to give.
Did you go to ChatGPT and have it write it for you?
No, I just wrote it in my head. One sentence.
He's like, I don't need fucking Skynet to write my shit.
Hey, I do it every week.
I would too.
Yeah. I got tired of writing the same thing over and over again. So I try to give it some sort of I don't know. It's just a different look every week now with that. But okay, so I think we talked enough about Ted Lasso. Some people would say we should talk more, but I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. But don't let your discrimination of Apple persuade you against not watching Ted Lasso. It's totally worth it. So just look at it as renting a movie and then just binge through it all in a month.
Yeah.
So that's my advice to you on that. All right. So we're going to talk spoiler free about Jack Ryan season 4 season finale. Did you watch it, PBS?
I have not finished it yet.
But you've seen a little bit of it?
Yeah.
What'd you think, Rob?
I thought it was great.
Did you?
Yeah.
You thought it was dark
I enjoyed
and
it.
gritty.
I was kind of like, yeah. Just me.
It's Jack Ryan. You know, I did enjoy Michael Pena or whatever his name is.
I didn't care for Michael Pena.
I thought he's bad.
I just can't. I have a hard time taking him seriously.
He's one of those guys who's really sort of pegged himself to that
The comedy,
comedic
yeah.
thing.
Like I always expect. Like I was the whole time. I'm like, is he going to tell a joke? Is he going to tell a joke? Is he going to lighten the mood for us here?
Yeah.
And he was just this very angry Michael Pena, and I was like, I don't know if I like this Michael Pena.
We don't like the angry Michael.
Yeah, not that he. I mean, listen, he did an okay job. I don't know. I'm sure he thinks
It's not his fault.
No, it's definitely
just,
not.
It's your perception of him.
Right. It's just me, and I'm just, I'm like I said, I'm like, is he gonna make a joke? I don't know. I think this may be the moment. And then he gets serious and shoots somebody in the head, and I'm like, oh,
It's not.
This guy's tough.
That's what I like.
Yeah, I feel like when I need to go back. I need to go back and rewatch the first like 2 seasons. Because when did John Krasinski start doing the Batman thing or whatever?
Yeah.
I think he started that in like season 2 or 3. Because I definitely don't remember that being like the first season.
Not the first, yeah.
And ever since he started doing that,
I feel like he has to. I feel like he's trying to whisper because he's all like around all these people.
I don't remember. Did he get punched in the throat in one of the seasons or something?
I
don't know what he
just probably
doing.
doesn't. I feel like he doesn't trust nobody, so that's why he's got to whisper. Like he's got.
He definitely is like the more active Jack Ryan, I would say, compared to the other movies we've seen.
I feel like they're trying to shoehorn some of that. Like you said, they're trying to make him more an actiony person.
Yeah.
And like if you go back and watch the Jack Ryan movie, like Jack Ryan's an analyst. He kind of reluctantly gets into the action.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this Jack Ryan, they want him in the action. As much as
we've
possible.
talked about this before.
And he was a soldier anyways.
Yeah,
that too,
he was a Marine.
Yeah.
And I've always said, like, where's my Jack Ryan that bitches that he has to go out into the field?
Right.
Like, I'm an analyst. I don't want to be a part of this. But yeah, this one, he's like giving up positions and running out in this country and that country.
It's for America. I got to do it.
I'm going rogue.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill some people.
I thought for sure they'd keep it going until he becomes president. He becomes president in the books.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it's over with now.
Well, it came out super quick too. I remember just watching.
Well, I mean, there was like 17 years in between the second and third seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember what happened in that third season, but I feel like I just watched it not too long ago.
That was the one with the Russians or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the old Russians and the nuke.
Yeah.
The train or whatever.
Where they go back and forth in time. And all
Yeah, like that's one of those series, especially the last couple of seasons, where I'm just kind of like watching it, but I'm kind of zoned out.
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to say that I had a hard time staying engaged with it.
Like I watched the first season of Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix, and it's like, people call them like dad shows and stuff. Like it's very talky, and it's kind of thrillery and that kind of stuff.
I love that fucking show, by the way.
And I was engaged. Like I was, each episode was kind of its own thing, but it tied in with everything. And I was watching and I was engaged. But when I was watching, especially the last season of Jack Ryan, because I haven't seen enough of this one just yet, but I was kind of like, yeah, I'm just watching this. Okay.
Yeah, I really want to like it, like really, really like it. But when I watch the episodes, I always, all of a sudden my phone's in front of my face. Then all of a sudden I'm like doing this and that. And I'm just like it's not one of those series that makes me put my phone down and be like super into it. And I just have a hard time staying engaged with it. And I don't know, maybe it just has a hard time getting to the point every episode. But
It's, I think maybe we talked about it last season. Like there's quite a few of these series with shorter seasons that I watch and I'm like, oh, this could have been a movie. 2 hours.
Exactly. I think those would have been more, I don't know. I think they would have been better at still as seasons, but maybe a couple of episodes shorter.
Mhm.
So they would have been more in easier for the people, us, obviously people like us to be more engaged in them. But I don't know. I'm kind of like, okay, that's another one off the books. Time to move on to something else here.
Yeah. I
Time to
mean,
catch up. It's time to go to that season 2 of the Lincoln Lawyer that's out.
I was really into the first season until like the last episode. The last episode, I thought they were going to do the Bosch thing because this actually reminds me a lot of Bosch. Bosch would kind of wrap things up in the second to last episode. And the last episode would just kind of set up some things that were going on that season and going to continue into the next season. And I thought Lincoln Lawyer was going to do that too. But then in like the last episode, they wrap up like 3 or 4 storylines. I'm like, whoa, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. Yep.
And it kind of put me off of the series a little bit. So they got the first half of the season 2 out. So I'll check that out. I was mostly into that. I liked what was going on. It gave me that old school John Grisham kind of feel.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Lincoln Lawyer movie with
I need to watch that. I haven't watched that.
It's good.
It's really good.
It's good, but I might like the show a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't remember the guy's name who stars in the show, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was really good. What's her face? Was it Nev Campbell?
Yeah, she was good.
She was really good in that too.
Nev Campbell's in that.
Yeah, it's a good show, man.
I thought it was. I didn't even realize there was a show until that second season dropped, and I think maybe you put it in the group chat or something. Like, there's a show. Okay.
Yep. But man, so are you sad we didn't get to see Jack Ryan as president?
I like you said, John Krasinski doesn't do it for me as Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
I think I never saw what was the Zero Dark 30 where he's the Marine or whatever.
Oh, it wasn't Zero Dark 30. It was
Secret Soldier,
13 hours.
13 hours.
One of
Secret
those.
Warriors,
that was
Secret
really
Soldier.
good.
Yeah. I just John Krasinski just doesn't do it for me as like the actiony kind of guy.
I like him as Jack Ryan.
Yeah,
but I think they could use a new showrunner for that show.
I wish it was more Jack Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah, like more suspenseful and like, okay. I now that it's like clicking in my head, you haven't seen everything, but the one guy that is Jack Ryan's like superior, the one black guy, what is his name?
Greer.
Yeah.
It's Wendell
Pierce.
Wendell Pierce.
Was he from The Wire or?
He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you see and you're like, I've seen him in like 10 things.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time taking him as this hard ass CIA guy that's climbed the ladder, but it's this obese guy running through doing shootouts and stuff like that. I'm like, come on now, folks, we're getting a little out of it. Can I at least get somebody that I can believe is doing this stuff? Like I don't even want to spoil it for you, but there's a scene where he gets ambushed.
Okay.
And he runs and jumps off of a bridge, and you're like, really? Like he would have been toast.
That was James Earl Jones in the movie. James Earl Jones wasn't doing none of that stuff.
Yeah, but I would have been I would have been happier had he just escaped by car somehow and blocked the guy in,
like outsmarted his way out of it.
But they gave him like a total like Jack Ryan moment, and you're like, come on, man, like this isn't right. But I mean, it's little things like that I had problems with the Amazon Jack Ryan. But I mean, the whole time I'm watching Jack Ryan, I'm like, I just fucking want season 2 of Jack Reacher.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing I kept thinking about when I was watching him. Like,
when's Reacher 2 coming out?
Yeah, like where's fucking season 2 of Reacher 2 or Reacher?
Yeah, I think we all like the first season of Reacher.
Oh, that show's so fucking good. It's way better than those Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah,
first one was really good. Second one was
plus with a lot of the one-liners are just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. I'll probably get around to finishing up, but it just I don't know. When Krasinski's voice changed, it really started rubbing me the wrong way. Like, what are we doing here?
For Jack Reacher season 2, it's supposed to come out in December, supposedly. But
they better fucking get going on that. Who knows with this writer's strike?
Well, now the actors are on strike too, so if they haven't filmed it,
well, I think it's done.
I think it's done.
I just want season 2 of Jack Reacher. It's gonna be crazy. I wonder how many other shows are gonna get some love or revisits now that the strike's in full effect and
I think
doesn't seem like it's gonna be over for a long time.
And the lead for I think he said the Lincoln Lawyer is Manuel Garcia Rolfo, correct?
Good job, buddy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
You get your participation points.
I appreciate it. So like 2.
You get a gold star at the top of your paper.
Oh, right.
You
I tell you what, that made you feel so good in school, didn't it?
Like, hell
It's like you
yeah.
just conquer the world. I got a gold star and a happy face.
you did just
Fuck
as
off.
good of a job as either one of us would have
I don't know.
done.
Did
Exactly.
your teacher, when you did good, she gave you the scratch and sniff stickers on your paper?
Yeah, I've gotten that a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always liked it when I got like the 2 stickers. Like, yeah, I
You
fucking
get the
killed it.
You get the chocolate one. You're like, this smells nothing like chocolate.
Who thought this worked? Who thought this was a good idea?
Little ASMR right there. Rob does such a good.
He does the good gum.
Is that how
gum-
you? Is that how you really eat when nobody's around?
the little
Yeah,
gum
it is.
flap?
Like when you get a double, Wendy's double for brownie, and you have one too. Are you like?
You think like people tell him to shut up when they're eating around him, but like when he's home alone eating, he's like,
Nobody can tell me shut up now.
Does that bother you? Somebody eating with their mouth open?
Yeah.
Like I could fucking kill somebody over that. Like it drives me crazy.
You've heard my dad.
Oh yeah.
you hear sleazy. Is that good, Bubba? Yep.
Yeah, that's like that's always my thing when I hear somebody chewing with their mouth open. I'm like, is that good?
Then you hear me
And like some people don't even. They're like, yeah,
like,
yeah.
hell yeah, can't you hear me eating it?
as his eyes get bigger.
Like,
is
yeah,
that is
yeah, I
that
can.
fucking delicious?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good.
Tastes like shit, Rob. It's not cooked all the way through.
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty good, buddy. Yeah, that one.
I think we all do that sometime. You get like a nice juicy piece of whatever. And you're like, oh man, I'm eating this pretty loud. I better.
Well, then if you notice, like, oh, whoa, ooh, whoa.
I can't say. I don't think I do that. Maybe when I was like 3 or 4 and I got hit for doing it or something.
Oh, you know, you got hit for it.
I learned my lesson. Don't enjoy things.
Yeah.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like if I was around somebody and they did it all the time and I kept telling them about it, like, can you fucking eat with your mouth closed? And they kept doing it, I might murder them.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me so much, but like you say, if it's constant or something, it's like, okay, you took a really big bite there. I get it. You had to open your mouth a little bit to chew it.
Yeah,
dial it back a little bit.
My nephews do that sometimes, and I'm like, eat with your mouth closed, dude. And they're kind of like, okay.
I can see Sleazy's face, just like in the movie Friday when John Witherspoon's like eating the grapes. Ice Cube's like,
I should make it. I should make another TikTok of Mitch McConnell.
Yeah,
me when I hear somebody chewing with their mouth closed or open. Oh man, but so I mean, if you've watched the Jack Ryan series and you're waiting to watch this season 4, just go ahead and watch it, get it over with.
I mean, it's still good.
It's good, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just okay. It's okay.
But you're like, I'm kind of done with it at that point. You're like, oh, let's see some Jack Reacher.
Yeah, it's run its course. It's not one of those shows that I'm like, oh, I wish there was another season of this.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, thank God it's over, and it's something that I'm not taxed with every year.
Yeah, after that third season came out, it's kind of like, okay, oh, there's another one already. Okay,
yeah,
this is the final season. I'm like, oh, okay.
So, the thing that you've all tuned in for on this episode is to hear our thoughts
on the latest biography of Rob Zilla called Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer,
about his journey with his diabetic dog.
And how he set
It's
off.
it's so compelling how you say it. I like it.
How he set off a nuke in the bathroom.
It was really tasteless of Christopher Nolan to include that one song. You know, you dropped the bomb on me.
So Oppenheimer, the latest movie from Christopher Nolan, his first biopic, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Is that what we want to call it? A biopic?
That's basically what it is. It's a based on the book. I forget who wrote it. It's called American Prometheus. And I listened to it leading up to seeing the movie, and I really feel like Christopher Nolan shoved as much of this book into this movie as he could, because there's a few things I was looking for that I remember from the movie or from the book that I was curious if they'd put in the movie or not.
Right.
And I feel like they crammed just about everything in there.
I watched a couple of like documentaries on it before I went and saw it. I was like super pumped to go and see
I watched there's one, it's on YouTube and it's on like the Criterion channel called The Day After Trinity, that talks about it a little bit from the 80s. It was pretty good. There's I keep wanting to. It's on YouTube. There's like a Oppenheimer drama kind of documentary from like the 80s or something. It was on BBC and PBS, starring Sam Waterston.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to get to that. I really wanted to find a good like Manhattan Project documentary. I want like a 10-hour Ken Burns kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's one out there. That's
Ken
what I
Burns.
really wanted to dig into it.
What, side note, what's your favorite Ken Burns documentary?
Oh, I love national parks.
National
Parks
Parks?
is great. If you only watch one Ken Burns, watch National Parks.
I'll have to make like a graphic Mr. PBS recommends.
And you said American Prometheus, right?
Yeah.
Because I know it says the author is Kay Bird and Martin J. Serwin.
Yeah, I think one of the guys might have died, and one of them has been out kind of talking about the movie.
Crazy, man.
But yeah, I have to try looking it up again. There's got to be like some Manhattan Project documentary out there. I know there's books and stuff about specific people and specific things. But like I said, I want that like 10-hour overview. I want to know about Los Alamos and Chicago and all that stuff.
It must be Kay Bird because it says Sherwin passed away 2 years ago, October of 2020.
It's got an 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
I heard it's been rated really high.
Man, it's really good. And I'm proud to say I didn't have to take a bathroom break during this 3-hour movie.
Oh, that's impressive.
I have trouble thinking about how I want to rate this movie because it's another one of these ones almost like Babylon in a way. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how I feel about this as a movie, as something to go see on the big screen and experience. Absolutely. Like 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. Yes. As a movie, I'm still kind of on the fence. They move through a lot of, like I say, he crammed stuff into the book. It's all in there.
And it goes back and forth in time, forth in time.
Especially like the first hour or two. I guess the third hour is mostly the trial stuff.
Yeah.
The trial stuff kind of slows down a little bit and spreads it out. And I didn't have my watch or anything, so I couldn't check the time. I only wanted to check it like once just to see how much longer, because this movie, it flies by. Like I didn't feel.
Yeah, definitely.
The pacing was just go, go, go.
It definitely did not feel like it was a 3-hour movie.
Right.
Aside from my ass hurting from being in the theater chair.
Right. There's no like downtime. Like maybe it even moves a little too fast. Maybe he should have cut some stuff out and let it breathe just a little bit.
And it's almost like it's a couple movies rolled into one.
You know, we say it all the time. This series could have been a movie. This movie could have been a series.
Yeah. Definitely could have. A little 13-parter.
Right. I mean, like that's almost what I'm looking for, is a big Manhattan Project series.
I gotta say, everybody keeps talking about Robert Downey Jr. in this.
He's really good.
He's good.
He's different, I think, than we usually see him.
Yeah. But man, Emily Blunt was really good in this movie.
She doesn't have a lot to do in some parts, but like especially toward the end, she's got some scenes that like when they hit, they hit.
When she's on screen, she steals the show.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different type of role for Emily Blunt, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I enjoyed her in it. I was like, they should have had more of her in this,
Well, it's a sort of heavy drama role. She's playing Oppenheimer's wife. I forget her name.
Bring in the sheets.
But
oh no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong person. Kitty Oppenheimer.
She was, to put it bluntly, she was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
She started out her life. She was married a couple of times. One of them was like, a lot of the trial stuff goes back to Oppenheimer's political beliefs, and he was certainly a left wing. He called him communist sympathizer, I guess. He
was very interested in the theories of communism.
Yeah. He as they go in the movie, he apparently was never like a card carrying communist, but he certainly gave money to left wing organizations and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what bites him later. But that's also kind of how he meets his wife. And I didn't know if they'd put it in the movie or not. There's a lot of things in here that are in the book that they're just like 1 or 2 lines in the movie, but like he got her pregnant while she was married to another guy.
Yeah, that was in the movie.
Yeah, and they kind of go over it pretty quick, but that was like that was kind of the whole thing. Like when you listen to Oppenheimer's history, he's, sometimes you listen to stories about people, especially back then, and you're kind of like, did this person have trouble with women or the opposite sex or whatever, or were they just kind of gay and they didn't want to tell anybody. And I'm listening to the audiobook, and for a lot of it, I'm kind of like, was Oppenheimer gay? And then no,
Yeah.
Oppenheimer was after the women.
He was a
at certain
womanizer.
point. He they got his mistress. I don't know if you want to call it. I don't know if she was a mistress exactly. Jean Tatlock, played by Florence Pugh.
That's another plus for this movie. You get to see Florence Pugh. You get to see those breasts exposed, and she's giving Oppenheimer a good ride.
There's only maybe like 4 scenes of nudity. 2 of them are very just them talking, but those other 2, they're not long or anything, but they're short, but they're kind of intense.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. That scene in the hearing, like, oh damn, I was a little like, damn, I was kind of embarrassed. It was intense.
Yeah. She was good at Florence Pugh was really good in this too.
She's another one. She doesn't have a whole lot to do just because she's kind of in and out of Oppenheimer's life. She was a big deal. She
kills it when she's on screen. Matt Damon was really good in this too. Leslie Groves.
Until like a week ago, I didn't realize he was in it.
Oh, really?
That much, I don't think. Maybe I saw it at some point.
I mean, he's only in it for a second, like a trailer, but he is not in it.
I don't remember a lot about him going into it, but he's got a really good role in it too.
You know who I thought was really good in this was Jason Clarke.
As the prosecutor kind of guy.
He played Roger Robb.
Yeah.
Roger Robb. He was the prosecutor they hired. And there's some scenes where he gets into it with Oppenheimer.
You really like this asshole again.
Yeah.
Leave our man Oppenheimer alone.
I mean, if there's one thing that you're going to get from a Christopher Nolan movie that you know you're going to get, it's a phenomenal cast. I mean, every movie he has, it's just great castings all around.
I won't say who it was in case other people don't know, but I wasn't expecting the person who played Truman to be Truman. I'm sure other people might know, but I wasn't really expecting that.
Who was? I mean, hold on.
I wonder if it's uncredited.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on a second. Yeah, I didn't even recognize it.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't expecting that. There is a ton of people in this movie that you'd be like, oh, I recognize that guy. Oh, I recognize that guy. And like I said, there's so much of this stuff is crammed in there. They do the story of the poisoned apple, which I think is still it's one of those stories that's still not totally.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Blank is at his unrecognizable best as Harry Truman and Oppenheimer.
Yep.
I didn't even catch it. Yep. So good, dude. That's a good eye that you caught.
I was really kind of surprised. Like, oh, okay. And like I said, there's a ton of people doing really good work. Even the ones that don't have a lot to do, you're kind of really happy they pop up for what they get. And even there's funny stories they left out, like the guy playing the bongos a couple times. That's Richard Feynman, who was a kind of a well-known physicist after this. There's a story in the book about he found a hole in the fence, and he would like go through security and come back in through the hole in the fence, and then leave through security again. So they'd be like, "What the hell? How do you get back in?" And he liked to like crack safes and pick locks. So he'd go to other scientists' rooms and like pick their locks and stuff like that, just kind of for fun.
Oh, I see who played Harry Truman. I don't expect nothing less. You know what I mean?
I was surprised. I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't even, when he said it, I was like, who did play Harry Truman? I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
But man, it's a really good movie, but I don't think a lot of people know who Oppenheimer is nowadays.
But they might know the name, I think.
Yeah. I mean, do you think people younger than us know who Oppenheimer is? I doubt it.
I don't know. Might be surprised. But
maybe somebody that's a history buff.
Like I certainly didn't know a lot about Oppenheimer. I knew who he was. I knew he was involved.
I knew he was the father of the atomic bomb, per se. But I mean, I didn't know, all of his history and all that. But,
yeah.
So I was really interested to like learn about it before I watched the movie. All the little things. Anyways, one thing I do wish that they would have included more was like, like the race to build the atomic bomb was a competition between him and Heisenberg. And I wish they would have included some scenes of like Heisenberg, more scenes of Heisenberg getting frustrated. And
well, I heard
maybe him blowing the lab up or something,
I think it was in the book, but I think there might be some I don't know how to phrase it exactly, but some people think that maybe Heisenberg was like purposely going slow.
Yeah.
There's a scene in this movie where they say, "Oh, Heisenberg is going this route," and Oppenheimer's like, "Oh, he's wrong."
Yeah.
And some
He took a
people,
wrong turn.
some people have speculated that maybe Heisenberg wasn't giving it his all because he wasn't really.
Because he blows up. They accidentally blow up one of their laboratories, don't they?
Okay.
I
I'm not
think
sure.
they do. I think Heisenberg, there was an accident and they blew up something.
He's mentioned just very, very few times in the book. Not like Oppenheimer only meets him like the once or whatever.
But it's funny, you know, the one thing that the Germans, you know, despised, which was Jewish people. I mean, the Jewish people, Jewish scientists in particular, built the atomic bomb.
Well, that's what there's. I don't remember who the character was, but he comes to the Los Alamos project, and Oppenheimer, whoever, says, "How long have you been British?" And the guy says, "Since Hitler told me I'm not German because I'm a Jew," basically.
Yeah.
Like, yep, okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's funny, you know, what was it? Oppenheimer had to go study overseas because, I mean, we just didn't have that knowledge here in the United States.
Quantum physics wasn't something we were doing yet.
And, you know, he started the program. What was it? What university was it?
I think it was Berkeley and somewhere else.
Yeah,
Caltech.
out in
Berkeley,
California.
Caltech,
Yeah. But, oh, you know what? Who we didn't mention yet was Josh Hartnett.
You know, I've seen a lot of people going on like, "Oh, I didn't know Josh Hartnett was this good." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I thought Josh Hartnett was always good.
Josh Hartnett's always good in everything he's in, but he was particularly good as it was nice to see him as a different type of character. Like, I don't think he's ever played a character like that, where, you know, it's a smart scientist and somebody that's
they always wanted him to be sort of the actiony heartthrob kind of guy.
The actiony heartthrob, and it was totally different for him this time. So, I mean, he showed some range in this one. I got to applaud Josh Hartnett on that. But man, phenomenal movie. And
Cillian Murphy, he was great.
I think it's Cillian Murphy.
Young Oppenheimer, old Oppenheimer. He was just phenomenal. He's in so much of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in every frame or anything like that. He's pretty close.
I think this may be Cillian Murphy's Oscar performance.
He's certainly getting nominated. He's getting nominated.
There's going to be several nominations for this. You know, he's getting nominated. You know, Emily Blunt's probably going to get nominated. Robert Downey Jr. is for sure going to get nominated. He might win for best supporting actor.
Yeah.
And I mean, this may win Best Picture. I mean,
could be.
I haven't seen anything else so far that's going to compete with it. I don't know. What about you? Do you think anything is out there right now?
I'm sure there's maybe smaller kind of things.
Of course, we won't see. You'll hear more
Oscar bait stuff.
You'll hear more of the Oscar, you know, top contenders come December.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly going to be in the mix.
Oh yeah, man. Did Nolan win for? Has he gotten an Oscar yet? I don't think he's got.
Probably not for directing. I don't think.
Yeah,
Rob Zilla can look that up while we're talking.
I don't think he's got a Best Picture or anything.
Dunkirk won something. I don't remember what it was, but Dunkirk won some awards.
Did you like Dunkirk?
That was another one where I'm kind of like, good big experience.
Yeah,
as a movie,
I was just kind of like,
To be fair, I think it actually just popped up on my Facebook memories. And what I said when I went to see Dunkirk was the movie before Dunkirk was Interstellar. And Interstellar is one of my favorite movies of the last 20 years.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you follow up somebody's favorite movie with another movie?
Is Interstellar a 5-star movie for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all day long.
And so, like I said, I mean, this was a really great experience. As somebody who listened to the book for Oppenheimer, it gets so much in there. All the characters are there. It's like I say, I almost wish it had more room to breathe, especially like the first parts where they're really getting into it. And like I said, I really want to know more about the subject.
Yeah.
After reading.
That's another thing. I've been like obsessed with, like, the Manhattan Project, Los Alamos and all this stuff. Like, I want to learn more about it because I mean, you don't really learn a whole lot about this stuff in school,
right?
You learn about, we dropped the A-bomb here and there. I wish they would have shown, like Oppenheimer's reaction to like the videos and photos of the destruction. Like I wish they would have shown us on the screen, and obviously you see his reaction to it, but I wish they would have included that in the movie, so the audience could see it too, and it would have been more of an educational experience there too. But I mean, I get what he was going for there.
Well, you know, I mean, they got those great scenes where like the background behind him is almost exploding in a way.
Yeah.
And you know, that brings us to the sort of the hot topic of the movies. Everybody's like, why didn't Christopher Nolan show us thousands of Japanese people getting incinerated? How do we know? How do we know it was a bad? It's like, it's pretty obvious that Oppenheimer feels guilty.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, there's literally a point where like they're celebrating and he steps on like an ashen corpse and busts it up. Like, I think if you watch this movie, you don't get the understanding that Christopher Nolan thought that Oppenheimer especially thought that it was not like a rah-rah good thing, then
And
you weren't paying attention.
There was a huge debate about whether they should use the bomb or whether they should showcase it and just say, you're going to fuck with us. This is what's going to happen.
Right.
And a lot of people wanted that. And, you know, Oppenheimer went against a lot of his colleagues that wanted him, you know, they had, you know, they wanted boycotts to happen or petitions. And he went ahead and went forward, you know, with getting it done, obviously. But, you know, it's one of those things where how many lives did Oppenheimer save?
Well, you know, that's the question.
With how many lives they took.
You know, they do it well in the movie, and it's from the book too, that like Oppenheimer was really a guy that was on both sides of the fence at once.
Yeah.
He did think it was a good idea to develop the bomb, and he thought Germany was evil, basically.
Yeah.
And they would need to be stopped. And it almost didn't ever, you know, there's a couple of lines in the movie, they never really occurred to them that, oh, we might drop the bomb on the Japanese. Now we don't need to do that. And I don't remember being taught this in school, but it's become a big debate, at least since then, about did we really need to drop the bomb or not? Because a lot of people say, you know, surrender talks were already going on with Japan. Russia was getting ready to change fronts and invade Japan. And do we really need to drop the bomb? And a lot of people nowadays would say maybe we didn't need to drop the bomb.
Right.
I just saw an article. I didn't read it. I just kind of read like the main body, and it said that all the Purple Hearts that are still given out today, they were made when we thought we were going to invade Japan. So they thought there was going to be so many wounded or whatever soldiers that's how many of them they made, and they're still giving them those ones out today.
And that was a big like sticking point in the movie. Like, well, if we invade, this is how many we expect to lose, and it's not going to be. I don't think we can sustain this. So you know, we're almost going to have to drop this bomb. What are you looking up over there?
That's all the awards he's won, but for Christopher Nolan,
I was going to say you're working way too hard over there.
Thumbs are.
Hey, but I'm working.
Google, does Christopher Nolan have any Oscars?
He's been nominated for Golden Globes, but he does not have an Oscar.
There you go. That's all we need to know.
I know. I was still looking though, and
Rob's over there like in detail.
See one little ball of sweat trickling down his forehead.
They're gonna yell at me if I don't find the answer they want to hear.
They're gonna call me a piece of shit. I gotta do it.
And you know, the other sort of hot button issue is like, oh, nobody talked about stealing the Los Alamos land from the Native Americans. It's in there.
They mention it vaguely.
It's just a couple lines. Like, and even when Oppenheimer goes to meet Truman, he's like, oh, just give the land back to the Native Americans. Well, actually, I almost laughed because when they were talking about Los Alamos, Oppenheimer says, oh yeah, there's a school here, and the Native Americans, they use it as some burial ground, whatever.
Yeah.
and that's, people are complaining, but like, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like the point is
it wasn't a big deal to them.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, it's just whatever. It doesn't mean anything. That's sort of the point. And then even Truman even says, oh no, we're not giving it back. We need to make it bigger.
It's funny how when like people don't understand that movies are portraying a perception and they don't understand that, and they think that they're leaving things out. And it's like, no, you have to look through the eyes of the characters.
Well, they are leaving things out.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah, exactly. It like you're looking through the characters' eyes and what they're thinking, like he didn't give a shit about the Native Americans.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
And that's the things I didn't understand about Oppenheimer until I was listening to it and watching the movie. Like his left-wingness, sometimes I think especially in America, we always kind of think of people as middle of the road or even kind of right-wing sometimes. So it's always kind of different to hear about, left-wing people. Oppenheimer was into poetry. They called him a cowboy. He had like land out in New Mexico that he'd go riding with his brother.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting how he had land and he was an avid horse rider.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was like, like you were talking about earlier about people today knowing Oppenheimer. Like if you'd asked me, I'd like, he's probably just some kind of nerdy guy.
Yeah,
and he was certainly, but he was out there riding trail.
He was a man's man,
riding the ladies. He
lived the American dream truly.
And you hear things like they put it in the movie, like he was terrible in the lab. He was terrible at it. He wasn't super great at math, but he was a thinker. He was an idea guy.
Yeah.
They pointed out, like, if you could put like two really smart people with Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer would kind of put their ideas together. And that's sort of why he ends up running Los Alamos and everything.
It's kind of funny because even in the movie, they make it Matt Damon's character, the guy who's in charge of assembling this team. He takes a big chance on Oppenheimer, and he sees something in him, and that's kind of like what you see. He's the idea guy that can facilitate things. Because when he goes to him, he goes, "Well, what do you think I should do?" And he's like, "You need this, 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 and this, and we need to go here." Like he's already knows what he wants.
I'm not even involved. I'm not even supposed to know about this stuff yet.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be classified.
Yeah, great movie though. Really great movie.
I definitely think you should check it out in the theater.
You got to see the atomic bomb get to
explode
on the IMAX, right?
It's the visuals, the sound. Like you have to go.
I was really upset I couldn't see it on the Ultra screen at Marcus Theater.
Mm-hmm. I saw it in the IMAX at AMC, which was plenty big enough, really.
I saw it on the super screen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, typical IMAX screen, but it's fucking Ultra screen, man. It's the biggest screen they got. I want to see it on that. Fucking Barbie's on there all weekend. Give me a fucking break. Just because it's the biggest theater, you know, so more seats that they're going to sell. But I was really disappointed with that. Fucking Marcus. Finally let me down. Finally let me down. Okay, so
the ending, we don't kind of keep it, because the ending is a little, I don't know how to say it exactly, but it's kind of not what you think it is in a way. So the ending was really good, and the ending really kind of puts the point on it. Like if you don't understand if Oppenheimer thought this was all good or all bad or whatever, the ending kind of tells you, like,
we didn't even talk about Albert Einstein.
He's another character. He's just got a couple little parts, but they're important parts.
That guy was good. I mean, because there's not a whole lot of movies with Einstein in it or his life or anything like that. So it was nice to see him in it, even though he only has like one speaking line.
Well, even Oppenheimer says, Einstein's ideas in a way are kind of outdated by now.
Yeah,
we've gone beyond his ideas. He's just kind of the elder statesman of physics or whatever.
Oppenheimer, though, great movie. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. Go see it in theaters while you still have the chance. Go see it on the IMAX. Experience the sound, the big screen. That's what it's made for.
Check out the book. Check out some documentaries. It's really, really cool stuff. Really,
absolutely. And you can get on YouTube and type in
it's all
Oppenheimer documentary. You'll find hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, the godfather of the atomic bomb. Or is he just the father of the atomic bomb? I think it's father.
Sort of the father.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to our last segment here. And this is honor of the UFO hearings. So I thought it would be cool to do the best alien movies ever made on ranker.com. So we're going to go ahead and share this on the screen. If I can get my mouse.
I was trying to look up like best nuclear movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though technically it was just an atomic bomb, not a nuclear bomb. Best end of the world.
All right. So Rob's seen it, but what do you think is the best alien movie?
I mean, it's got to be one of the alien movies, right?
Da, da, da,
or the
da,
Thing.
Da,
okay.
da.
Give it a Thing.
The Thing. It is an alien movie. So that's such a fucking good movie, though. It still holds up today.
It does.
Such a fucking good movie.
I can't say anything negative against that.
I mean, are we going up or down on the number one?
I've got to stay up.
Yeah,
stay up.
I agree with you. Then number 2 is Aliens.
So, up for me because that's classic for me.
Yeah, I like Aliens. I think it's better than the first Aliens, even though they're 2 separate movies.
Two different kinds.
Yeah, 2 different kind of movies. You got what I'm saying. But it's definitely good. Definitely good.
Fantastic. I mean,
I mean, if you watch the second season of Stranger Things, they just pretty much copy
Game
Aliens.
over, man.
Fucking.
And then Aliens right behind it. I mean,
see, this is I figured when they did the ranker, they'd break them up, and I really don't think they should. I think like just the Alien franchise
right,
should
right.
be on there.
Yeah.
That way it makes way for some other ones to
Yeah.
kind of.
Because 1 and 2 especially are good. 3 I don't really dislike. It's obviously not up to 1 and 2.
I thought it was shit. I haven't seen the 4th one yet, though.
I rewatched it.
I like 4.
And the 3rd one's not bad. I like how they kind of go back to basics where they don't have weapons. It's just one. But the Resurrection is probably the best when they did the puppeteering because it looks so good.
It's fun.
Yeah, they don't do a whole lot of CGI with it, and it's
Prometheus
really
and
good.
Covenant. Didn't really care for Prometheus all that much, but Covenant I thought was pretty decent. So I really feel like Alien franchise should just be one.
I like the new Ridley Scott ones.
Yeah, Covenant.
Yeah, the first one in particular was really good.
Yeah, I couldn't get into Prometheus. Every time I tried, I was like, yeah, okay.
Is Prometheus the second one?
It's the first one where
Alien Covenant is the second one.
Okay, I like the first one.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into Prometheus.
The second one I thought was a little weird, but it's still enjoyable. I thought if you're into sci-fi,
David plays his own fiddle or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
For me that would be like just one thing, just Alien franchise.
Dum 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 Predator. I'm already hitting the
You
up
are
on it.
one ugly mother.
That's like one of my all-time favorite fucking movies.
It is.
I mean, maybe because it's just it was always on when I was a kid, and it's still always on like every other weekend.
If I run into it, I leave it on.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's on. You got to watch it.
Yeah,
just
you
to
just leave it on.
Say the lines like "you ugly motherfucker."
Really, did you guys see the clip or the TikTok? It's Christopher Nolan. He's on like the Rich Eisen show, one of the sports guys, and he says, what's your remote drop movie?
Yeah,
Predator is one of those kind of movies, but his remote drop movie was Talladega Nights.
You're not first, you're last.
I loved his response.
Yeah.
He was like, "Well, if you're not first, you're last," and he just said it so calm.
Yeah.
You know?
His accent is great.
I would love to fucking interview Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
I just, people, they always talk about his movies being cold and kind of like humorless, but you hear him say something like that, and like that's just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he really doesn't have a whole lot of humor in his movies.
Not like haha kind of funny stuff. Like you said, he'd be somebody just be kind of cool, just like talk about movies with for a couple minutes.
I would love to have a nice like bourbon or scotch with him.
Yeah.
I think it would be a great time. He's got some nice hard liquor.
Yeah.
And he probably smokes a cigar too.
Oh yeah.
Like, look, I just want to have a drink and talk movies with Christopher Nolan for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all.
After that, the world can end. It's fine.
Fifth Element. That's
how you
great
go
fucking
up.
alien movie.
That's another one that whenever it comes on, I leave it on.
Yeah.
I get upset if I miss like half of it because I like starting from the beginning.
Bruce Willis and Gary Oldman is the villain.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
That haircut is horrible enough on its own.
Yeah.
To be villainous.
Listen, this is another one of my favorite directors, Luc Besson.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Muzz have touted Luc Besson for years, and people just not hip to Luc Besson for whatever reason. I think the guy's a fucking genius.
His like 80s, 90s output, just fantastic.
Yeah. Great fucking movie though. I gotta watch. Oh, this is a movie we've been talking about.
I wouldn't know if this movie's any good because it's practically impossible to find.
Right. Like, can we get this fucking reprinted already, or some kind of digital form?
I guess they don't talk about the movie process. I guess people hated it. Like
The
Ed
Abyss.
Harrison in.
I think they
had a bad experience filming it.
Okay. Yeah,
part of
that's
the problem is I think that The Abyss and True Lies were made by like the same production company, and something happened to that production company, like went bankrupt or something later on, and that's why those two movies, especially of James Cameron, have been kind of harder to find. Like maybe he doesn't have all the rights to them or something like that.
Well, he needs to stop fucking wasting his money diving to the bottom of the ocean, and he needs to fucking get the rights back to this or whatever he needs to fucking do and give us our 4K edition of this.
I remember there was like, back when Fox or whatever, one of the channels, they'd have like, here's a 30-minute making of kind of talking about The Abyss. And it was kind of like a big deal when it first came out.
I remember watching that as a kid. This is obviously 1989. It was released, by the way. I just remember being amazed by it. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing.
I think, like I say, I don't even remember seeing it on TV too much, but I think one of my parents had it like taped off TV. So it's something that needs to be rediscovered.
And it's so funny too, because James Cameron must have loved Michael
Biehn.
Yeah, because he was in Aliens, he was in Terminator, and then he was in
I'm almost to the point where I'm going to illegally download it somewhere. You know, somebody's ripped it or
Oh,
something.
it's out. It's almost definitely.
I see where people are selling bootleg DVDs on Amazon. I thought about buying one, but
Yeah. Just like you with this movie, I was always mesmerized when like the water was coming alive and
yeah.
and all that. Then
Now, why is Star Wars on here?
It's got aliens.
it
in
has yeah.
But it's not an aliens movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sci-fi
That's
fantasy.
what when you first started talking about doing this, I'm kind of like, I wonder what it'll be. What kind of like when we were talking about our best action movies
Yeah.
list. Like, is a best alien movie just like a sci-fi movie that happens to have aliens in it?
No, we got to have aliens, just aliens. There's no, I mean, I get it's a space opera movie.
Kind of like, well, even like Fifth Element being on this list. Fifth Element is close to a movie with aliens in it, but I feel like it's a little more toward the
Sci-fi,
list than
right?
what Star Wars is.
Yeah, I guess I would have to take Fifth Element off there then if we're going by just
Yeah.
aliens in modern time abducting people or invading the Earth, something like that. Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt.
Really,
it got
really
switched to
underrated movie.
live. Was it Live, Die, Repeat? Right.
Yeah, they suffered with that name
Well, it
change.
was the book, and the original title was All You Need Is Kill, and then it was Edge of Tomorrow in theater, and then when they released it on physical media, it was Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, or something like that. So they changed it like every time.
Yeah, it's a good movie though.
I
Really
don't,
good movie.
I don't know if I'd put this in like the alien category because it's mostly the aliens are just kind of there to be bad guys, but it's definitely an underrated movie that needs more people should check out.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, coming in at number 9, Interstellar. It's got I mean, sort of an alien movie, kind of.
I don't know if I'd put it on an alien movie list.
Yeah.
Entity. It's an entity of some sort.
If you want to say sci-fi, then absolutely.
I'll definitely hit the up arrow just because it's a phenomenal.
Yeah,
movie.
I can't say enough about how much I like Interstellar.
Ooh, District 9.
I love District 9.
It's got your boy in it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
say his name.
Sharto Copley, I believe it's pronounced.
Don't be shy, Rob. Say it with some pride.
I love
2009 from Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
And this is one movie that needed a sequel, and it's never going to get one. I don't think.
He's supposedly he's started writing it, but that was like a year ago. Supposedly
That was like 6 years ago. Come on.
Well, officially he started it supposedly, but
It's
I
never
mean, it
gonna
was supposed to
happen.
be a sequel and a prequel. He's supposed to do, but
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That was a good movie, though. Very good movie.
I loved it. I still love it this day.
Another Star Wars one. I'm down on that one. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Got to bump that one up. That is an all-time classic alien
It is.
movie.
Classic
Richard
Spielberg
Dreyfuss.
alien movie.
And what's the conspiracy theory around that, Mr. PBS?
Oh, is that the big one that like Spielberg knows aliens are real?
Well, it was that the government hired him.
Right.
To-
Well, the idea is they're preparing us for when they do announce that aliens are real.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, like we were talking about, maybe they succeeded. If you announced aliens are real today, a lot of people would just be like, yeah, okay, cool.
It's 1977, so they've waited a long time for us to get acquainted to this movie and to tell us if that's the case. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy. No, I'm going to down that. It's not really an alien movie. Men in Black, you got to up that
Yeah,
one.
up
That's a
that
good
one.
one. It's definitely, that involves the alien folklore,
Mhm.
Men in Black, conspiracy theories. Stargate. I fucking love Stargate.
I wish Stargate's one of those movies that when I watch it, I always wish it was a little better. But I think it's fine 90s action sci-fi.
Oh, that was a great movie. I remember renting that movie and
James
watching
Spader,
it.
Kurt Russell.
Watching it like fucking 10 times. And that was back in the days of VHS, so I had to keep rewinding it and watching it. And yeah, that is a great fucking movie. Kurt Russell was the shit in it. James Spader was really good in it too. Okay, Independence Day.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
I
put
gotta
that.
put Independence Day above most of these.
Yeah.
It would be up towards the top, like behind Predator for me.
Yeah.
Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Randy Quaid, all-star cast in that movie.
Exactly.
And it came out on Independence Day. That was the
Yeah.
great thing. I remember going and seeing that on July 4th, and I was all geeked. And
I
oh,
think that's
so
what the best
good.
part was when it came out on 4th of July.
And everybody made a big deal about them blowing up,
White
the
House.
cities.
Oh,
and the
I never
White
heard that,
House.
yeah.
That was a great movie. It's a great movie, man. Starship Troopers.
Gotta go up. Come on.
I mean,
It's
even
so
though
bad,
it's not
good.
in our kind of alien realm, it's a good sci-fi movie.
Oh yeah. That's another one that's sort of more actiony. The aliens are just kind of in it.
It's very
But
cheesy.
I like that one quite a bit.
You get to see some boobies in that one. See, like Pitch Black, I don't know if I would put that in there.
It's more sci-fi.
Yeah. Total Recall.
Again, another
Sci-fi.
movie that I really love, but I don't know if it's like an alien movie.
Right. Arrival. Now, see, here we go.
Yeah.
Arrival was really
That,
fucking
that was good. That was one that I rewatch every now and again. I always kind of forget just how good it was. Like, oh, okay, it still packs a punch.
Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, this is definitely like a very sophisticated alien movie. But I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And it had a really great ending.
Classic.
I mean, this is right behind Independence Day for me.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite alien movies, Signs. 2002, M. Night Shyamalan. Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, and Cherry Jones. But phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on HBO Max or maybe Hulu. Thinking maybe Hulu. But great movie nonetheless. One of Mel Gibson's better movies, I think. But I'm a little partial to it.
Maybe one of his last kind of big movies.
Big movies, yeah. Every time I drive past cornfields, I think of this movie.
Everybody remembers that one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Max. Well, HBO Max.
HBO Max, yeah.
Hulu, Amazon Prime.
This is another one when I see it on, I stop what I'm doing and watch it. But
Swing away.
Yeah, swing away, Meryl. in the scene where they have their tinfoil hats on watching TV.
Yeah.
That's great. And this was in like M. Night Shyamalan's heyday where he was
like
just,
his second or third movie.
Yeah, they thought he was, the shit because he couldn't miss.
Then he started missing.
Here we go, Prometheus.
Yeah, and every couple of years, I'm like, I'm going to try Prometheus again. And it just never does anything for me.
Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron. 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Classic sci-fi. I don't know if I'd quite call it an alien movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Kubrick.
I mean, there's kind of like remnants of it here and there in it, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I would call it a.
If you were asking me for like top 10 alien movies, I wouldn't put it in my top 10 alien movies or anything like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider next on the list is Avatar. I wouldn't even consider that.
It's sci-fi.
Contact, yes, I would consider that an alien movie.
Yeah. It's a borderline, just because you don't really see it, but
it's certainly not
through her perception.
It's certainly not
traditional
creatures.
No.
Yeah, traditional
alien beings.
But it's in that realm of making contact,
Yeah.
obviously, hence the name. E.T. Why is E.T. so
E.T.
low?
so down the list?
Yeah.
Like that should be in top 5 at least.
E.T. is E.T.
At least. Galaxy Quest, I guess you could call, comedy maybe.
I just like we were talking about like with Star Wars, like I wouldn't really put Star Wars or any of the Star Trek movies in an alien list because obviously there's just aliens in the movies, of course.
Event Horizon, I wouldn't even put Event Horizon in this.
As it,
I don't. Yeah, it's not
as
really
an alien sci-fi. Yeah, Alien.
I really like Event Horizon.
That's more or less kind of like another dimension, right?
Yeah.
Fun.
Another Riddick movie. Come on, can we get over the Riddicks? War of the Worlds. Okay, I'll give that one on the list.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, we're not putting the Avengers. No Star Trek. X-Files. Of course, we got to up
be
that.
top 10.
I really like that first X-Files
The
movie.
first X-Files movie is fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good. Fuck if you don't like sci-fi, it's a good fucking movie.
It for like 2/3 of the movie, it's just like a good 90s thriller.
Yeah.
And then the ending's a little kind of because they had to get it back to the TV show or whatever. But that's one of those 90s movies that's like a 5-star movie for like half the movie.
Yeah, 1998, ladies and gentlemen. All right, The Mist.
I would put it on an alien
No.
It's more interdimensional.
Now we're heading on some other things. Enemy Mine. I don't know what that is.
That's where it's like Quaid and he's stuck on the planet or whatever with Louis Gossett Jr., who's an alien.
Okay. The Day the Earth Stood Still. That would be
a classic alien movie.
Mr. PBS. I'll throw that up there just for you.
Seems like that should be higher.
H.G. Wells' War of Worlds. You know that's on your
Worlds
list.
again. So
we'll move that up just for you.
Again,
They Live. Now here we go.
Okay.
Here we fucking go. They Live. Roddy Piper.
42.
Keith David, Meg Foster.
Maybe not something I'd immediately think of as aliens, but
It's
aliens.
definitely aliens. Yeah. Quiet Place. Another thing I just didn't think of, but that's a fucking great movie.
Dude, they killed it.
John Krasinski. Pacific Rim. I'm gonna down that fucking movie.
crushing me.
Yeah, Spaceballs. No, Alien 3, Thor, Cocoon.
I mean, that's an alien movie.
Predators, Star Trek. So I guess we're kind of at the end of the list here. This is 51.
People hate on Cloverfield. I like Cloverfield.
Yeah, I like Cloverfield. And then Paul. Paul was a good movie.
It's fun.
Species.
Yeah,
oh, you
of
got to
course.
up Species. Come on, man. That's a
I
crime.
don't know if you got to up Species, but let's just say Species was watched a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got to see a lot of sex in that movie.
Mhm.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Maybe. Yeah, I guess. But it's not like creepy alien.
Of
Invasion of
course.
the Body Snatchers.
That was
That's
actually on-
definitely way too low.
Yeah, that's one you just don't think about though, because it's you think of it in the horror realm, you
Yeah.
know. All right, so I guess
I wouldn't put Last Starfighter that.
I'd put that kind of like in the Star Wars, Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
More than the straight ahead, just aliens. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with kind of like we talked about the action. Like how would you define a category?
oh, here's one we didn't even talk about. Mars Attacks. That's got to be up there.
Dude, that's gonna be top 10.
It's one of the best. And you know, I still haven't seen all the Faculty. That was great.
Dude, that still holds up.
Yeah, that was great. Why? There's a lot of good ones here at the end. Alien Covenant, Starman,
Starman USA.
Johnny,
Fire in the Skies, all the way down here.
What?
I've not watched that movie all the way
I
through.
think that's probably just a lesser known one at this point.
Yeah.
It is or was streaming on one of the big streamers.
I think they took it off.
I keep meaning to check it out.
It was
every
on
time.
Prime because I meant to watch it. I started to watch it and I fell asleep.
Every time it's streaming somewhere, like I need to watch this, and I just don't watch it yet.
Based off of quotation true events.
DB Sweeney.
Yeah, DV Sweeney. Okay, so that's all we have for episode 163 of the Sleazy Podcast.
I mean, that's it.
That's it. That's all we got for you. I'm sorry, but we got to go. It's our Friday, you know, so we want to enjoy somewhat of the weekend.
Right.
But as always, thank you for listening to the show. My call to action is to share the show. Share it on your social media accounts. Share it with a friend. Share it with a family member. Share it with anybody that likes movies and TV or anything that we talked about on here recently. You help us grow ultimately, and we need your help, you know? So let's get our voices out there and just share. Sharing is caring, right?
Yes, it is.
Am I right? Sharing's caring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all we have for you. We'll be back in 2 weeks, I would assume.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. We'll be back for our bi-weekly recording.
Got to check out that what's that new horror movie that comes out? The like As I Lay Screaming or whatever it's called.
I don't know, man. I'm so far behind.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. That's
Oh yeah,
Yep.
talk to me. I'm hearing good things
I
about
think that's
that.
out or coming out.
Yeah.
People are ranting and raving about it.
Well, those
saying
guys who do the YouTube did this movie.
Yeah.
So they're pretty wild. So
The
that's
guys
gonna
that
be
did
a wild
what?
movie. They did YouTube like videos, Waka
okay.
Flocka, the one that, like the crazy McDonald killing people and all that. So
Yeah, I think that's going to be out soon, so we'll have to check that out.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you. Again, thanks for listening. And remember, keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the Sleazy Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, listen to Sleazy.